Hi everyone, Professor Philip Travis here, EOU, Week 5, History 111, World History Part 1. This week we're going to be looking at the Roman Empire, and it's a huge area of history, and that's why I've decided to reserve this week specifically for looking at Rome and the Roman Empire. We are still reading in our textbook from Chapter 7. Chapter 7 in our textbook, of course, includes Persia, Greece, and Rome all in one. But you probably read that last week. At least I hope you read that last week, as we were reading that last week when we were looking at Persia and Greece. And so the primary reading this week is a collection of primary source documents on the slave wars, the Roman slave wars. There were three major slave uprisings during the Roman Empire, the first of which occurred on the island of Sicily, and then, of course, the most famous, the Spartacus slave war that happens in southern Italy, being launched largely in the area around Capua and modern, historical Pompeii, the area in the greater Naples, Mount Vesuvius region of southern Italy, about a 3.5 hour drive south of Rome, which was in, of course, the Spartacus slave wars from 73 to 71 BCE. Of course, the slave wars occurred largely because of Roman wars and expansion. The first Roman slave wars occurred on the island of Sicily, following the culmination of the Punic Wars with Rome's #1 competitor, Carthage. And the Roman wars against Carthage and other imperial wars resulted in a huge expansion of money and power in the hands of a few in Rome, in Italy and Sicily. And this resulted in the consolidation of large agricultural estates called the latifundia estates that employed widespread slave labor. And it was from these this widespread uses of slavery that we see these three major slave wars occur first in the 2nd century BCE on the island of Sicily, two of them, and then the most remembered and well-known in the 1st century BCE, the Spartacus slave war, led by Spartacus, of course, most notably. So we have a collection of readings associated with that. These are primary source readings. There's also some reading at the beginning that explains the Roman slave wars, and also issues of historical sources and primary sources that historians have to deal with. So that's what we're going to be looking at primarily this week. I also have for you this week a video that I shot from Roman Pompeii. Of course, Pompeii was not only, of course, we remember Pompeii so well because, of course, it was the city that was buried in ash by Mount Vesuvius when it erupted in 79 CE or AD, burying the city in ash, and as a result, preserving the city in an incredible fashion for us to understand here in the 21st century. But Pompeii is not only remembered for that. Pompeii was a long sort of port city, first a port city for the Greeks prior to the emergence of the Roman Empire, and then, of course, a very significant location during the Roman Empire, and a location that was often associated with gladiatorial events that would have been connected to the gladiatorial training Colosseum facility in Capua, which was where the Spartacus slave wars were launched, and is the sort of predating the Roman Colosseum in the city of Rome, the one famous that everybody remembers. So we're going to read about the Roman slave wars. I have some questions for you, obviously, in the discussion forum about the Roman slave wars, and also about how we should understand Roman expansion and what lessons it might hold for us in the 21st century, particularly those of us in the United States today. The quiz is just a simple quiz on that video from Roman Pompeii. The video is only about 9 minutes long. It is not long, though it took a little while for me to produce it because I used images, narration. Also, I'm on site, and of course, I put video, local music that I put into the video as well. But watch that video. It's only like 8 or 9 minutes, And then there's a 5-question quiz on it. And if you watch the video and you pay attention to the video, it should be pretty straightforward. There's, of course, my weekly lecture this week on the Roman Empire. So please see that in addition to the textbook. We're going to be focusing on things discussed in the announcements. The factoid for this week is in the video below. Please watch that. It's going to really help you to think about things for the discussion, as well as in the documents, the primary source documents on the Roman slave wars, and in the video lecture, and of course in the Pompeii video. So all of those things are going to really play into your ability to engage in this week's discussion in the best way. Last thing, we have our paper due this week. It's a short paper, between 600 and 700 words. Please no less than 600 words of text. I have a prompt in there that explains the paper. I also have a video that explains what I want on the paper. There's a series of prompts. There's 3 of them. Please remember to make a specific argument. Don't give me broad summaries. Make a specific argument about the subject. Please see the prompt for greater explanation of what I expect on the papers. Let me know if you have any questions about those as well. There's 2 options to write one paper in this course. So if for whatever reason you didn't write the first paper, there will be an option to write a paper at the end of the term. I dropped the lowest score, so you only have to write one paper during the term, and you have 2 options to do so. The first option is this week. If you wrote this paper and didn't do well on it, you could, of course, do the second paper, and I would drop the lowest score. So keep that in mind as well. Okay, that's it. Please let me know if you have any questions. The factoid for this week is, again, a video below that I shot from Rome. Please watch that. Give me a brief summary of that, and that's going to really help us for engagement on the discussion forum. Get your bonus point towards a test score at the end of the term, and let's have a great week. So video, factoid, it is the video below. Just summarize the ideas there. It'll really help you in the discussion forum this week. Send me the summary. Let's have a great week.